Greetings again, and I'm still John Dupuy, and I'm still the CEO, at least for a while. No, nothing. I don't know if they're going to remove me or not. Sometimes I think they should, but anyway, they're very kind. Let me stay here, and they make me feel like I have something of value to give. So anyway, yeah. So today we're going to continue our PMP, or Profound Meditation Program 3.0, which is one of the flagship products that we've been, that we developed right in the beginning, and we just build around it, and it's brilliant. It has like 17 tracks, I think. So we've gone through 10 tracks now we're on the 11th one, and we went through Descent into Delta, and really powerful. And then we have these releasing tracks, which are Alpha Theta. Okay, so they're a little not quite as deep, and they're meant to kind of lift and help us release and relax and kind of deal with all the heavy lifting that you get from some of the heavier tracks. At least that's how I form it in my brain. Okay, but they're really nice tracks. You can actually use them if you're studying or reading also, or use them as meditation, as we're going to do today. So without further ado, let's get rolling, and I'll say a few things afterwards. It's great to see you guys here. Well, welcome. Thank you for being here with us and practicing with us. So um, I've been informed that I have a doctor's appointment I have to get to, so this talk will be blessedly short. I hope. Um, yeah, I just want to talk about something that's been on my heart a lot, and that is character, what that means, and how do you get some. Okay, so values are things that we maybe aspire to or think are good: compassion, wisdom, courage, grittiness, uh, open-mindedness, moral development, all these things. Uh, Virtues are values that we actually inhabit, right? They've been called habits of the heart, things that you actually do. And I've really puzzled with this or struggled with this a lot because, for example, my work with alcoholics and addicts, at some point, I came to believe that if you didn't build character, people wouldn't stay sober, you know, and because you have to have a reason for doing that which is virtuous. Now, so for a young person, for example, and you're going to school, you're going to college, you got to have some reason to do it. I heard a Jewish guy the other day, he was a real rebel, and said, but I had to go to school. I had to go to university because that's what Jews do, which I thought was charming. Would that we all have that kind of neurosis. And but you have to get there. So when everybody else is partying and having a good time and going out and having multiple affairs or whatever you do when you're young, when you're on the hedonistic side of things, why do you stay and keep cracking those books? And part of it could be, well, I don't want to dishonor my family. That's pretty good. Or I want to, in the future, I want to be able to contribute, and I want to be able to support my family if I have a family. So these are good things to hang your hat on. When I was going to school, I'd been through a whole bunch of stuff before I finally got to the blessed gates of a university. I had been in a cult my whole teenage years and gotten out and served in the military. And by the time I got to school, I was really grateful to be there. And every class was a revelation. I was just so hungry to learn. But I had kind of, and there's the other kind of motivation. Say if you didn't have parents you want to honor, say you had terrible parents. What if your dad was a violent alcoholic, and just beat you up and put you down and made you feel like you were less than less during your childhood, so what could you draw out of that? Well, you could say, I don't want that asshole to win. Okay, if I just become a victim of his hatred and his own wounding, he wins. So I'm going to do this, right? Because I don't want him to win. And I think in my case, when I was going to school, it's both of those things. I loved my parents and I wanted them to, they had always valued education, and I wanted to do that partially for them. So that was one of the things I hung my hat on. And the other thing, I just come out of a cult that, one of the things about cultish groups is when you leave, you're leaving the will of God and you're cursed, and God is going to judge you and blah 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 blah. So I said, I just don't want to be, I don't want those guys to win, right? Because that's what they said about me. I want to do the best that I can, and perhaps if I study hard, if I do these things, perhaps someday I'll find there'll be something for me to do to contribute to the world, so that when I lay my body down, I'll be able to say, okay, yeah, I blew it a lot, many mistakes. However, I think the world is basically a better place because I was here. And that's about as good as we can get, I think. And I think that's what we should aspire to. And what draws us to virtue? Well, the three big ones is truth, beauty, and goodness. And as we are attracted to those three virtues, then we begin to develop habits. And we begin to develop character that's deeper than just our intellect. That's part of us, and it's how we act. And you can just know what you're going to do, So if you don't, if you, self-reflect and say, I'm lacking in these virtues that I would aspire to, well, get some. And how do we develop that? Well, I guess, I don't know. And I'm not saying I know this, but I think through finding the reasons, whether it's so that son of a bitch doesn't win, or so that I can honor my family, or that I can honor the future, whatever it is, get some reasons to do the right thing, to live in an honorable, productive way, in which when it's time to lay your body down, the world is better because you showed up, that you were here and you lived your life well, and begin to practice that. And I think those are actually evolutionary and radical transformative practices. And they're a way that we, just as an individual, you don't know how these habits of the heart or these virtues will echo out in the world, but you can be pretty sure that kind of karma is going to be a good thing. And we don't actually know the good that we do all the time, or the bad. It happens in ways that we are not always aware of. So let us practice, and let us become the people that we would imagine that we need to be in order to be a force and an energy for good in these very confusing and very disruptive times that we are in, where the center is just barely holding, and every little bit of goodness that we can give to the equation could help a lot. So let's live our lives that way, and I'll go see the doctor. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much.